Good morning, folks. Welcome to another edition. Let me check, see we're all good on. Good morning. All right, folks. We're good on Facebook. Let me share it out. Facebook, we're good. Good morning. Let me check my LinkedIn. Got a lot to get to this week. I got a lot to get to today, for that matter. Let's not focus on the week. Let's just get through the day. Let's not think too far ahead right now. Be kind of contradicting what I'm all about in terms of just my LinkedIn. All right, LinkedIn, we're good. Let me repost this. And YouTube. It's YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Those are the main platforms in which I do my lives and get a lot of work done. And YouTube, we up. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm car accident injury attorney Jared. I'd like to speak to you today about car safety.
All right, YouTube, we're all good. Let's get the show started. All right, good morning, folks. If it's your first time tuning into me, let me introduce myself to any newcomers. Name is Aswand Cruickshank, former Division I college football player and current 5-time published author and educator. And what I do, what I've created, what I'm all about is taking the lessons, the teamwork lessons that I learned on the football field and applying them to businesses, so teams, so business owners can have a staff that's moving in a very cohesive way and a very motivated group of individuals that they bring into their organization based on the foundation and the systems that you put in place. And we have an absolutely incredible, as always, an incredible topic on this topic today. Incredible examples, because we are in the heart of football season and there's a lot going on. All right. So before I get started into the weeds of what we're going to be talking about today, let me just get through some announcements. First things first. Anybody, if you're on the West Palm Beach, Florida area, if you're in the West Palm Beach area and you are interested in free boxing lessons, be sure to contact me. Just hit that QR code that you see on the screen. I do them every 2 weeks. A skill that if there's an opportunity for you to learn, it's something that you should be taking advantage of because it helps you in so many different ways. All right. Next thing. Business owners, the people I serve, the crew of business owners in which I look to serve every single day. If you have not yet, go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com. That's freeguide.makeyourmove.com. I put together 10 ways in which you could use innovative teamwork right now to reduce the turnover in your business. That is, again, freeguide.makeyourmove.com. Make sure you go there and put your information in so you get one of those. And finally, Patreon. We are approaching every single day. We're getting closer to 2025. And as we move forward in the thriving 2025, that's actually this year's theme. I will be more so focusing on the people who are members of the Patreon community. We have something for everybody. It's preseason, regular season, and postseason, regardless of where you are at financially. There's something that you're going to be able to financially afford to be a part of, an exclusive group of business owners that are only interested in helping each other, working with each other, and collaborating with each other. So there's efficiency in regards to how we go about hiring people, who we bring in, who we contract with, who we hire in as agencies, how we use AI. So many of those things are going to be discussed in the Patreon community. All right, so those are the announcements. Now, first things first, recording this on a Monday, December 16th, 2024. And for the past, I think I've lost track at this point. The past couple Mondays, started this early. Man, when did I start this? Now that I'm thinking about it. I started this probably around October time, sometime in October, I have something called a Make Your Move kickoff question. All right. Now I had Make Your Move Monday back, when I first started the brand and all that, but I brought it back to ask the Make Your Move Monday kickoff question. And this weekend was one of the most anticipated games of college football, period. All right. We had Army versus Navy, and every year you have Under Armour and Nike duking it out to see who's going to bring the best uniforms. All right. So today's kickoff question, Monday's Make Your Move kickoff question is who brought it this year? Who brought it this year with the uniforms? All right. They were both fire. They were both hot uniforms as I was saying, if you caught the video this morning that I did. I believe that Navy's uniforms just get the nod. Now, that could be some bias in terms of me being from Maryland and, having played all the championship games I played in high school. They were in Navy, but the Army uniforms look great as well. So that's the question today. It's who had the better uniforms on, and the question on the question, but also the business lesson attached to the question is understand that this is something that happens every single year. Nike rolls with Army as a sponsor of Army, and Under Armour does the Navy uniforms. And every single year, there's a ton of research that goes into the uniforms that they're going to design, how they're going to do it. There's people that they go and consult with. There's veterans, there's folks who've been there, done that, and they consult with them based upon, they consult with them and ask them, hey, what's going to be the best uniforms? How are we going to outdo each other? How are we going to honor the military? How are we going to honor the veterans based on our uniforms? So there's a lot of research that goes into that. And I encourage you to take a lesson from the Nike and Under Armours of the world, because they know how to align brand, align their market, and align their company with things that are going to give them positive press and create conversation, create anticipation. That's the name of the game, is saying, hey, look, we're this major clothing brand, major sports apparel brand, and we're going to align ourselves in some sort of a competition like Army and Navy, and ask and put it out there. People are going to kind of subconsciously ask the question, who has the better uniform? All right, so let me just put the question up there one more time while I see my Wi-Fi is not in the best shape right now, so let me just check to make sure we're all good on all the platforms. Hold on real quick. Wait, why is my Wi-Fi acting like this? All right, check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. All right, we're good. 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. All right, we're good here. All right, cool. So next thing I got to talk about. I'm looking at this Wi-Fi. It's really actually bothering me, because I had a time where all right, good here, but where's the unstable connection? I don't get it. Why is the connection? So, all right, now it's back. It's back. Unstable connection. All right, we're good. We're good to go. Yeah, man. Listen, I don't mess around with that stuff. There had a time where I recorded a whole episode, and it turned out the sound wasn't on. So I'm gonna constantly check and make sure we're good, and make sure all the technology stuff is where it needs to be. So before I get into today's topic, is NFL need fear. Let me give my response to the Heisman results, because if you can recall, if you listened to me there we go again. Why are you doing this to me right now? Good here, but there's a connection issue that is just not making me feel very comfortable right now. Yes, if you can recall, last Friday, I was bold enough to say that My Heisman, the real Heisman. I titled it the real, capital Real Heisman. Actually, I have it right here. If you recall, last Friday I had this as a thumbnail. I did a whole hour-long show telling you why I personally believe that Tyler Warren should have been the Heisman. And I got a lot of pushback. I got a lot of comments. I got a lot of things that were not, I won't say nasty things, but just a lot of jokes per se, because I picked Tyler Warren, and these are all the things that he can do. I picked him as the Heisman winner, as the person who should have won the Heisman. And we all know what the result was. Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy. Again, congrats to Travis Hunter. Like I said in the last show on Friday, I'm not here to take anything from Travis Hunter's ability, his athletic ability. Again, great player. If you watch him play, if you've actually watched the games, you would agree, you understand he is a fantastic player, all-around athlete. However, what I was explaining to you all is Tyler Warren, the person that I picked as a Heisman winner. There's a reason he's getting ready for a playoff game versus Travis Hunter, who is not. He's getting ready for the Alamo Bowl. There's two different positions. When you're talking about football is not played on the perimeters. Football is played in the trenches. And when it comes to the top candidates, Tyler Warren was the only one in the whole. If you look at the entire list, actually, I think I have it. I don't even gotta tell you guys about it. I have the list right here to show you all. Right here. Let me see how long it's going to take. Give me a second. I have the list right here. Right here. If you can see it, just squeeze it a little bit. In the top 10, Tyler Warren's number 7. Now let's go through the numbers. Travis Hunter, obviously the winner. Ashton Gentry, running back, skill position. Quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. Quarterback, Cam Ward. Running back, Cam Scatterboot. Bryson Daly, quarterback for Army. He is the only one in the top 10. He's the only one in the top 10 that's not playing in one of those skilled positions. All right. So I know what I'm talking about, because now, again, if you came at me and you are knowledgeable about the game of football, if you came at me about my opinion on the Heisman winner, and you know the game of football, and you admit that, hey, the fact that Coach Prime coaches Travis Hunter, the fact that they're on TV so often, the fact that there's a narrative there that appeals to a mass group of people, if you at least acknowledge that that was a reason for him being the Heisman, I'm not necessarily coming back at you with this, but I'm talking to the people that don't know a damn thing about football, only know hype, only know, okay, we see Travis Hunter on TV and we see what he can do, and we see his girl, we see him with the flash and all the plays that ESPN made him a great player, made him famous because of all the highlight reel stuff. I'm talking directly to you, and recognize that there's actual real credence in what I said. Look at the top. Look, I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm talking about. Look at the top 7 people. Tyler Warren's number 7. He's the first one on this list that isn't playing either quarterback or a skilled position. There's a whole lot to be said to that. There's a whole lot to be said about that. And when you watch the game, it's about the people that are dominating in the trenches in that front 7, whether it's offensive or defensive. And that's it. That's my response to it. Again, I don't want to say anything else about it, because too many of you all, especially the ones who don't really pay attention to the game and don't really understand how the game works, are too busy trying to find trying to call people haters, or try to call anybody that's critical, anybody that recognizes the game, haters. Actually, I do have one more thing to add when it comes to this Heisman thing, because I'll be 100% honest with y'all. When it comes to the work I do, when it comes to the way I see the game, when it comes to the teamwork lessons that I feel obligated to serve and explain to the business owners that I want to serve, there's 3 things that I no longer watch. I can't watch it. I no longer have the stomach to watch these 3 things. The Heisman ceremony is one of them. The next thing is the NFL draft. And the next thing is the NFL award ceremony. All 3 of those things, I have no ability. Stomach can't take it. I can't take it from the coach's perspective, from the player's perspective, from the scout's perspective. Everything I've lived through in this game from 7 years old all the way to now, it is screams individual accolades, all about me, 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 me. It turns the game of football, the ultimate team game, whether you're talking about the Heisman ceremony, whether you're talking about the NFL draft, or you're talking about the NFL award ceremony. The NFL used to have an entire award ceremony. You know, I remember actually watching playoff games and finding out, like in a wild card game or a divisional round, that so and so became the MVP. There wasn't a whole ceremony about who's the rookie of the year, and you know, you had all these stars. Again, all that stuff is just it's moving people towards an individual accolade. It's taking the sport that should be teaching teamwork and teaching lessons on teamwork. It's taking the sport and turning it into something that's an individualized accolade thing. So when it comes to this Heisman ceremony, I can't watch it. The last one I actually watched, I believe it was Bryce Young, and Bryce Young won. And again, these players have nothing to do with the players. The players' story, my story. Every time I see, you know, it came up again. This is my story. I lived it. I actually played the game. So it's not that I don't watch the Heisman ceremony because of the fact that I have anything against any player that's up for the award. I can't watch it because it turns everything into an individualized thing. It's all about me, 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 me. So I couldn't watch I couldn't watch the Heisman ceremony. I had to catch the replay. I did see, you know, the replay of Travis Hunter's speech and all that. I thought he did an excellent job. I thought it was heartfelt, as heartfelt as he can make it. I will warn you all, though. I will warn you. I'll close out just this, my response, by the way, in the moment I'm reacting to the results of the Heisman. I will warn you all, if you're a real Colorado fan and you're a real fan, like a real fans, are people that really do want to see him well and really do believe in Coach Prime is building. It's not that I don't believe in it. I'm just, again, diehard Michigan fan, and I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight. I like to see Prime do well because I remember watching him as a player and all that. But we'll warn you, real Colorado, real Buffalo fans, that having a player who won the Heisman does not translate into a successful program the next year. Just telling you the honest truth. You can look at the past winners of this trophy. It does not translate into now you're going to be a success on the field the next year. All right. You can just go and look at the numbers. It just is the truth. This isn't me hating. This isn't me being critical. This is just me putting a warning out for you guys before you get too excited about this Travis Hunter wave or this trend that we are on right now. That's just the God honest truth. All right. So all that being said, let's transition. I gave my response. You guys heard it. That's my response. And I'll leave it at that, and we'll move on to the playoffs. Now, let's get into some of the topic today. All right. The topic today, NFL need feeder league. Now, let me make sure I'm perfectly crystal clear when I say what I'm saying. All right. Feeder league. The only reason the word league is here is because there was a NL, because there's an L at the end of NFL. The NFL doesn't necessarily need another league, because this has been the issue that I have spoken about over and over and over and over. And you could pull my receipts, you can look up my name, and you can look up feeder system and talked about it over and over again. In fact, I have a whole chapter in this book. I'll show you right here. The chapter in this book that says the value of a feeder system. This is what the NFL needs. The NFL needs a feeder system. What we saw now, and I'll be 100% honest with you, when I first heard the news, when the news broke this past Friday morning, and this guy walked off the field in the middle of the game, in the third quarter, he walks off the field. I remember saying to myself, I wasn't going to address it because I thought of Vontae Davis, the late Vontae Davis, who unfortunately is no longer with us, and he left the game and he retired in the middle. I think it was halftime of a Buffalo Bills game. And now, again, he's no longer with us, and you just never know. I didn't want to talk about this because you don't know what's going on with this player. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I gave the player the benefit of the doubt because you just simply don't know what they're going through in their personal life. You don't know what's going on in the home. You don't know how things are happening. So when I first saw it, and I saw everybody kind of trashing him and everybody coming online and saying De'Vondre, I think it's De'Vondre Campbell or something like that. When I first saw everyone trashing him online, I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to kind of let this go and not really discuss it because I don't know what's going on with the man's personal life. However, it came out that he actually planned this. So now we really got to talk about it. All right. He planned this. And I found this out because of nowadays, one or two, I have two football shows, the two shows that I am dedicated to. I don't want to get dedicated to, but I find myself watching the most when it comes to the football takes where I can really get my information. Our Coach JB's show from Last Chance U, and the Facility with Emmanuel Acho and Jim Jones, Chase Daniel, and Shady McCoy. I find myself watching those shows more because I feel like as I'm listening to them, I feel like I'm getting actual, real, factual information from folks who've done it. I am done with ESPN and all their football takes. I can't take it anymore. I normally would just watch Coach JB in the Facility to get my information. If I miss something, if I didn't get something in the league or if I didn't get a headline, I usually go and listen to their show. So when they expressed that this was something that was actually planned, and then I realized how long that this guy's actually been in the league, that's when I was like, okay, this is something now that I have to address, and I have to make sure I'm on record stating because it shows the broken system in the NFL that somebody like this has even been in the league for as long as he's been in. So I got a couple of clips. To play for you guys. And then once I play the clips, I'll break down exactly what a feeder system looks like, why the NFL needs to go to one, and why it's so important, guys. Listen, it's so important. If you love football, if you want to see football actually survive, this needs to happen yesterday. It needs to happen yesterday because you cannot continue to have this system. And this is why I was telling you earlier, I can't watch the NFL draft. I can't support that nonsense no more. I can't support the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Again, I love the players that are getting their opportunity or the NFL awards. I love what the players are accomplishing. However, the fact that we're throwing this and making this such an individualized sport and making such a big deal about individual accolades, it leads to this bruised ego that I'm gonna play in a second, that Emmanuel Acho was referring to when it comes to this player. It's too much of all about me. So let it play and then we'll go from there.
Before the game, he tweeted what we had there up on the screen for a moment. He tweeted, someone is about to get a great football player that's been badly misused. Oh, well, let's get it, though. So you went into the game.
Yeah, no, you knew what you were going to do.
You went into the game knowing if push comes to shove, you gonna do this. You premeditated this. So Fred is spatting his ankle up because y'all know he got a broken ankle.
No doubt.
Brock Purdy getting his shoulder loose because he missed the game because he got a bad shoulder. Mooney is probably getting his tears out because remember, every time he takes a step in this life, he's probably thinking about the passing of his 1-year-old. Ricky Pearsall probably continuing to bandage up where he got shot, by the way. And before the game, you knew that you was going to do this. Yeah. I've never seen anything like this.
Okay, that's what did it for me. Like I was just telling you, I wasn't going to talk about this. I was not going to talk about this. I was not going to address this until I saw the fact that he planned it. He knew going into the game. I did not know that. Again, I don't follow these guys on social media. I have too much of my own content to put out there. I don't. I depend on shows like this to get information, to get facts. I know I'm getting from a trusted source. And when this came out, that's when I said, okay, this is a broken system because you're welcome to go watch this segment, the whole segment on your own. But what was being said by all four of them was the fact that we can't even say, oh, this is just a young guy who don't know better. This has been a dude that's been in the league for over a decade. and knows his role as a backup. At this point, you're a backup. At this point, you're a backup, and you're there to just get them young boys right, do what you have to do. So, let me play. I'm going to play you Emmanuel Acho's initial take because I thought it was absolutely on point. And then we're going to go to Coach JB, who knew who this player was. This is a JUCO guy. All right. And the reason I want to make sure I play what he has to say is because as a high school, I spent 2 years as a high school coach, and there was too much, in my opinion, there's too much of when you're talking about guys that want to play college ball, there was too much of this, I'm just going to go JUCO. So I'm going to go F off all of my responsibilities academically. I'm just going to do whatever it is I can do because I can go run to a JUCO and ultimately get whatever it is I want to get. I can get to the league. I can do whatever it is I want. That happens too often. All right. So before I get to JB, let me just play you Emmanuel Acho's initial take on this, and it was absolutely on point.
Picks that gets a show like this passionate. Everybody here obviously played the game, so let's get to it. De'Vondre Campbell, I suggested he is a traitor. I suggested De'Vondre Campbell is a double agent. I suggested De'Vondre Campbell is something like Judas. You sat at the table, but you were plotting the 49ers' death. The 49ers are a team, historically, an organization of toughness. This isn't just my word. These are players who have lived it by their actions. Ronnie Lott, a historical great. He cut off his finger just so he could play in a game. My dear friend, my brother Marquise Goodwin, his wife had a stillbirth the day before. He plays in the game, catches the touchdown. He prays up to the sky. Christian McCaffrey, he had to go to Germany just to try to get on to the field. Rick Pearsall, he first-round pick. He got shot, and he played 6 weeks later. Fred Warner had a broken ankle, and he played the entirety of the season. Charvarius Mooney Ward, he lost a child, and he played this season. George Kittle, he has ligaments being held on together by a string. Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl, and he played 10 months later. And all you got, De'Vondre Campbell, is a bruised ego? That's all you got? Players got shot. Players got broken bones. Players got torn ligaments. Players lost children. And all you got is a bruise. A bruised ego. Double agent. Traitor. You plotted this.
And listen, when you talk about that ego, all right, the question has to be asked, what leads to a player having such a huge ego? What leads to it? Ask yourself an honest question. What leads, what can it, when you're talking about a young man growing up from 7 years old and growing to become into an adult, all right, a grown ass man, what exactly is leading to the ego becoming so big that you're forgetting that this is a team sport? It's a team sport. He ran it off perfectly. He nailed it perfectly. Guys done been shot. Guys got ligaments torn up. Guys, are going all over the world to get surgery. One player expressed that he lost his daughter and he still played. And you got a player on your roster whose ego is so bruised that he can't just suck it up. And whatever issue you got with the coach, listen, we've all been there as players. All of us have been there as players. We've all had issues with our coach, and we didn't like the way we were being played or whatever. Let me put the tweet up let me put the thing that he put up one more time. He said, someone is about to get a great football player that's been badly misused. Oh, well, let's get it though. 1,000%. Every single person who's played the game of football has been there with a coach. 1,000%. Okay, you have your issue. You wish you were playing, and you should, to be 100% honest with you, you should have an issue. You should have an issue because you should want to be out there competing. But when you look at your brothers in the locker room, when you look at the men that are going through the same thing that you're going through, hey, we're going to just ball. We're going to ball. We're going to talk about it later, and we're just going to have fun. But to walk out like that, and again, I was going to leave it alone until I saw that tweet, until I realized this is something he actually planned. And it made me say, okay, look, the scout in me, the person that spent time, one of my first job outside after college, I was a college scout. And the thing that we would do, the thing that I would make sure I do is I'd go to games. I wouldn't know anybody. Didn't have any dog in the fight, didn't know any of the coaches, didn't know any of the players, didn't know any of the parents, didn't know anything. And I would just look and see which players stood out, see what players actually had the conviction, see what players really wanting to play, see what players are eager to jump off from the sideline into the game. I would just look and see who had it. All right. And so I have that skill. I still have it in me, you know, as I went. It's a reason I actually moved to Florida, because I knew it was going to be everywhere around me. Everyone's going to be talking about they want to play football. In fact, this guy, De'Vondre Campbell, I believe he's actually played his ball out here in Florida. So I knew that this was going to be the kind of energy where everybody's talking about going to the league, and everybody is, oh yeah, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be this, that, and the third. So I did some more digging on where exactly this guy came from. And again, like I was telling you, my second 1A, 1B when it comes to getting my football material is the Coach JB show. Jason Brown from Last Chance U. In fact, I've had one of his players on my podcast. Shout out to David Brunson. And you know, he has had some incredible takes, in my opinion, from a football perspective, because he speaks to it as someone that's actually been there. It's not going to be like listening to a Stephen A. Smith that you're just talking about stats and you're just looking at numbers off a screen. You're actually talking, and you listen. As I'm listening to JB, you're listening to someone that's actually coached the game, has played the game, knows how to work with certain players that aren't necessarily that great, is really analytical, and you're going to get your facts from the game. All right. So he gave a take on this, and he just happened to know that this player was a former JUCO guy. So I'm gonna let his clips play real quick, and then we'll dive into how, if there was a feeder system from the NFL, a lot of this stuff can be avoided, because we can weed a lot of this nonsense out. So
get a bad rap. Here's why JUCO coaches and JUCO get a bad rap. His head coach in JUCO was a GA for me when I played. Absolute fucking clown. The fakest of the fake when it comes to coaching. That's why I beat his ass every year. I beat his ass and played him in Indy. His name's Ryan Rhodes. I'll just straight tell you. We don't fuck with each other. He's an absolute fucking clown. He was the head coach at Hutch while De'Vondre Campbell played there. Two of my boys that played against him, I got a text from last night. He quit in JUCO. Do you think it's fucking ironic that he quit last night in the NFL? Because you fucking allowed him to quit, Ryan Rhodes. Oh, soft-ass motherfucker. You allowed him to quit, you fake motherfucker that hides behind the Bible. But anyway, that's not that. It's not about Ryan Rhodes. It's about this motherfucker. I believe truly, though, it's how the coach reacts to him and raises and rears him and teaches him to where he is today. You think any of my players would have ever quit in an NFL game, Smitty? You think Jermaine Johnson would have...
So excuse the, I don't know if that might be your first time listening to Coach JB Brown, but that's just how he talks. No, and that's actually what draws a lot of people, draws a lot of eyeballs to his stuff. But take the spirit and the point of what he's saying, which is in JUCO, and just so we're clear what JUCO means. If you're not familiar with how football works, JUCO is a college that's junior college. All right. High school football player, you have a goal of playing D1 or FCS or whatever it is. You want to play big football, eventually to the pros. However, you're a high school kid and your grades aren't where they need to be. You can't visit school. You're not eligible to get into the school or whatever. What happens is something like JUCO comes into existence. They give you a second chance because it's a junior college. They allow you to play football, and if you're good enough in a year or two or whatever, then these big time programs recruit you and you're able to go play in the league, which is what obviously happened with this guy. And what he's explaining is on point, is the fact that I don't have any personal what he mentioned. I'll just have to take his word for it. But what he's explaining is right. When you teach it, when you allow someone to quit on you, that habit, I don't care how talented you are, I don't care how far you go, eventually that habit catches up to you. This is a guy that played in the league for multiple years, has been in the NFL, has played for multiple teams, all right? And the habit of him quitting still wasn't able to be removed from his mindset, right? From his heart. I'm just going to quit when stuff doesn't go my way. All right, so I'll let him finish out his take, and then we'll get into exactly how the situation could be avoided and how we can vet it out if we actually develop a proper system towards vetting nonsense like that out.
Off the football field, do you think fucking Tank Dell's gonna walk off and not want to go in the game? It matters. You could say it don't matter all you fucking want now that they're in the NFL. It fucking matters. Because I would never let him do it in JUCO. But he was allowed to do it in JUCO.
Yep.
So guess what? He did it the other night. Here's the reason why this cat is why I keep coming on this show and arguing with Smitty as to why we're overpaying these motherfucking underdeliverers. This is the most entitled group of people that I've ever seen strap on a helmet and a fucking uniform. Ever. This generation is the most entitled. And the parents and the fucking street agents and the high school coaches and all the people, not all of them, I get it, have enabled this entitled ass generation. And we continue to allow it instead of fucking coach it. And this is what you see now at the ultimate level. Well, you don't think this is direct correlation of the transfer portal and being allowed to do what you want to do? You're out of your mind. You keep arguing me all you guys want. This is what you get. When you give a leash to a cat and say, here, take an inch, they'll take a yard and then a mile and then a fucking, they'll keep running with it.
I mean, listen, if I could take the mic off, I would simply drop it. He absolutely nailed it. This is 1000% a correlation of this portal, of the transfer portal, of the JUCO, the kind of the JUCO. Not to say that every JUCO coach has bad intention, but it's kind of a correlation of giving second chances, too many second chances to guys that simply don't deserve it. And it's coming out of this light where, you know, a guy, again, doesn't have his stuff together academically. He messes up or does something stupid at a bigger school. He's not performing right at a big program in which he said or which he committed to. He's not showing up the way the coaches expected him to show up, or he's not developing within a certain amount of time, or he got beat out by somebody, and all of a sudden the player gets to just jump ship, leave, move somewhere else, right? And there's always this other coach, this other program there who is so desperate for wins that they're just taking guys in without a solid system in place. That's what's going on at the college level. That's what's been going on at the collegiate level of football for years, even when I played. What we're seeing, I think what became revealed this past Thursday is the fact that it is now getting into the pro game. And the reason I should I'm gonna repeat myself, the pro game, because it is not actually a pro league. All right. They call it professional football, but at the end of the day, it's a 501c3. It's a nonprofit. And being a professional has more to do with how you conduct yourself. Being a professional is more to do about how you actually go about doing your business. Just being in the NFL doesn't make you a professional. Being a professional makes you a professional. How you go about your business, how you go about your diet, how you go about your workouts, how you go about getting your proper rest, how you go about actually recovering and keeping up with your body, staying on top of your body, making sure you're ready every offseason, making sure you're ready every game, making sure you're ready at every single opportunity. That's what makes you a professional. Just being in the NFL or the NBA doesn't automatically declare you as a professional. You still have to do the work. You still have to be the person that actually steps up and say, this is how I'm going to conduct my business, because you are a business now. You don't get to just walk around with the stuff that the team that you play for. And so I got to play for this team. And all of a sudden now your ego is massaged with this player. I could only imagine that this guy that walked off the field spent the past 10 years telling people, yeah, I play for so-and-so team. And everyone's like congratulating him. And, oh man, you the man, you made it, this, that, and the third. Being a professional has nothing to do with that element. Being a professional has everything to do with how you are in that locker room, how you are with your teammates, how it is you are constantly getting better. And that's true in every walk of life. This is a leadership systematic issue that we saw. So when it comes to how we actually solve this problem, we have got to simply, and I've been on the record saying this over and over again, and I'm so happy that I get to say it again. I'll continue to say it until the system is done the right way. You got to go look at baseball. Go look at soccer. Go look at hockey. Go even look at the NBA. Even the NBA has a G League, right? Where you have a professional team, all right? Again, air quotes when it comes to professional. We have a NBA or a team, NFL team or NBA team, NHL team, MLB team, whatever league you pick it, right? And there's something called an affiliate. All right, there's an affiliate for that particular franchise in which these guys that are playing for the affiliate are hand-picked guys. All right, it's subsidized. The contracts are with the actual team. The contract is with the Lakers. If you want to use the Lakers as an example, you have LeBron's son playing specifically for the Lakers affiliate. All right, the current place where I currently reside, right here in West Palm Beach, the school that I teach at right now, it's like maybe a mile away from the ballpark in Palm Beaches. I believe it's called Cactus Field or something like that. But you see the Washington Nationals affiliate plays here. The Houston Astros affiliate plays here. The NFL has got to go to that system. All right. Because when you really think about it, you start to say to yourself, all right, how the hell did this guy last in the league for so long? And then when you really pull back the wheel, really pull back everything we've seen the San Francisco 49ers go through the past year, they get to a Super Bowl. And their main linebacker, I believe that hopefully the name is Greenlaw. And we all saw it. Everyone that watched the Super Bowl saw it. He's running off the side. He's running from the sideline to the game, and he eventually tears his Achilles heel. One of the most freak injuries I've ever seen. I've never seen that on the field. All the football that I watch, I've never seen a guy, just tear his Achilles and be out for 10 months at this point, just based on running from the sideline, running to get into the game. All right. So you got a linebacker issue. You have a depth issue when it comes to being a linebacker. All right. Now, here is the issue. The fact that the San Francisco 49ers don't have a particular affiliate organization, a feeder system in which they see that happen, and the offseason they could pull a guy up. You hear the term all the time when it comes to baseball. The guy's been called up. Pull him up and put him in this linebacker position. You have to bring on this old, I don't call him old because he's not old in adult years, but he's old in football years. You have to bring in this guy that may or may not even be in the league for a couple of years, and you have to pay him. And there's already been film on him. He's already had his opportunity. He's already been there, done that. It's time for us to move on and bring in some younger talent, give opportunities to some of the younger guys who are still training. And we have this affiliate team in which guys compete, in which guys are continuing to work out. They are being paid based on our salary. Our salary is actually bankrolling this affiliate team. We could just bring this hungry or talented guy in, and we don't have to go and sign some old veteran. Think about it. It happens at every single organization. We're using the San Francisco 49ers as an example right now. But when you look at the Dolphins, they just got rid of Odell Beckham Jr., right? They got rid of OBJ years ago. Great talent, big name, obviously. But when you look at what happened in yesterday's game, Jalen Waddle went down. He went down, guys. Jalen Waddle went down. And then there was another receiver that had a absolute, God forbid, freak injury where the stretchers came out, the ambulance had to come out. You can see his neck. You can see the way he fell. They're low. They need guys that can play that wide receiver position. And you just get rid of Odell Beckham Jr. and you lose two receivers. You lose two receivers in one game. And there's no feeder system. There's no system in place in which the Miami Dolphins can say, hey, Palm Beach, West Palm Beach Panthers. I don't care. You can call whatever it is you want to call them. Hey, we got the call up. We got an opportunity. You're now having to go sign a guy who was on the street who may or may not have been working out, or sign some old guy that comes in and may or may not be ready or may not, have lingering injuries. And then you still got a 200, I don't even know what the number was. It's well over $100 million to pay Tyreek Hill. Tua looked horrible in the waning moments of the game. You still got to pay him, and there's no solid system. So now, look, the problem is clear. You need a system. All right. So let me make sure, because I'm rambling a little bit too much. Let me make sure I make it clear on exactly what the difference between a system and a league is. All right. So a league is what you see with the USFL or the UCF or whatever it is, whatever league they're going to call themselves. And there's a reason that every year they fold. Right? There's a reason that they fold every year. It's because it becomes a conflict of interest. All right. As great as The Rock is when it comes to marketing the product and, using the fact that he is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, all that. Listen, I get that. I respect. I even wrote about it in the book. I respect what he's trying to do. But at the end of the day, when you take a brand new league and you create a brand new league, it creates a conflict of interest with the NFL owners. It may not even be intentionally or directly competing with the NFL per se, but the owners who are responsible for doing what's best for their individual franchise, for Stephen Ross, for Jerry Jones, for who's another one? Robert Kraft, for the people that are the owners of these franchises. Their responsibility is to serve their fan base, and they can't serve their fan base when you have a brand new league that's on TV and they have no real contracted affiliation with them. All you're doing is taking the guys that used to play for them and now you're putting them in this new league. I know it's not intentional, but when we're talking about the fan engagement, it becomes a conflict of interest. So when you have a system, now if The Rock were to take these teams and go individually to the owners and go to Jerry Jones and say, hey, Jerry Jones, I want to build a team in Fort Worth, or even go to Stephen Ross and say, hey, I want to put a team in Palm Beach and have you be the guy to pick the ones that are on this particular team. We're not going to do TV. We're not going to do national TV or anything like that. We want to keep this talent kind of secluded to the West Palm Beach area, to the South Florida area. Make sure you guys have an opportunity to nurture this talent. Make sure you have an opportunity to have these guys develop in case somebody's guys go down during the season for you. We want to give you that opportunity. Then you have a system. You guys get it now? There's a difference between having a system and a league. The league, again, is going to become a conflict of interest to the NFL, regardless of the intention of the commissioner or the owners of each franchise. Now, a system becomes complementary. It becomes complementary to the NFL because a system now creates opportunities for actual players in case something happens like what we saw yesterday with the Miami Dolphins, where two receivers, one, a huge star in Jalen Waddle, first round pick, goes down, another one, a freak accident, and you just cut OBJ. So now you got Tyreek Hill, who's big money Tyreek Hill, because you got to pay him. You got Tua, who didn't look good at all, that you got to pay him. Now it's a matter of, okay, we're out of roster spots. Same thing that happened in San Francisco, but with the linebacker position. You have certain guys go down. You bring in a guy who obviously his ego is huge and he wants to start, or he has certain visions on what he feels like doing, really doesn't care about the organization, and nor should he. At this point, he's quit in JUCO. He's been in the league 10 years. He's got his money. He's good. I got mine. I bet for it. I can guarantee you that this guy, De'Vondre Campbell, is walking around now not giving two Fs about what anybody says about him on TV. He got his money. He's been in the league long enough to have his money, have his stuff together. And at the end of the day, I ain't even mad at him for that. That's just the way the system is set up. So if you want to avoid this, and I'm going to close you guys out soon, if you want to avoid this, the issue has to be, and as I translate this, and this is where we have to translate this into the business world. All right. Look at what's going on. Look at the issues. As popular as the NFL is, as much as people watch it, as much as football has grown in the world, how much it's become a part of our culture, it's become the fabric in our society, it's become the most popular sport in the world. Understand where the holes are. And as a business owner, your whole concept, your whole idea, the whole makeup should be about filling these gaps. You got to fill these gaps in business. All right. When you fill these gaps in business, then you start to build relationships that are going to be lasting a lifetime. So if you understand that the NFL, the need that needs to be filled is the fact that they have a completely broken system. A broken system that you as an owner could come in and say, okay, if we're going to do something with the team, if we're willing to work with the NFL from a marketing standpoint, or if we're even in business on ourselves, if we're thinking about how we want to run our organization, let's make sure the system is ironclad tight, a system in which you're bringing in young talent every single day. It's almost like the saying, building your well while you're still thirsty. Keep building that well. Make sure it's something that you don't see, you're not able to, or you're able to lessen, we'll say it like this, you're able to lessen the amount of holes that people can crack through your system, then you start to see the growth and development of your organization. And that's what baseball, even though baseball doesn't have the commercial success as football, there's a reason that there's so many teams around it. First of all, the sport is played, we're internationally. Same thing with basketball, same thing with soccer. There's a reason that, again, even though they don't have the commercial success, or they're not the NFL per se, they don't make as much money as the NFL, there's a solid system in place because you see, young feeder systems with all of these franchises. And that's something that the NFL needs to adopt yesterday. They need to adopt it yesterday. I have been on record. I have gone, I wrote, listen, right here, this NIL package that I look at every day. There's been books and books, information about this that I've talked about over and over and over again. And it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. The more we pay too much attention to these individual accolades in terms of how these kids come up, what we actually coach and allow, and the more and more we spend time dealing, talking and giving press to this NFL draft and the NFL awards and making things so individualized, eventually you'll start to see where these issues are going to just become unavoidable. Right now, people avoid it because you have the money to shut people up, or keep lawyers quiet, keep situations quiet. But over time, I guarantee you, this is one of many guys. I've actually seen players. I've seen it with my own eyes. Players leave a practice and be done with it just right on the spot, where they just can't take it anymore. And it all goes back to simply having a broken system. All right. So that's today's show. If I'm going to leave you with anything, it's take a look at your organization, take a look at what you're building, take a look at what you're trying to do, whether it's your family or your business, however it is, and start to think of the foundational pieces that are in place and ask yourself, have I covered everything? Have I actually thought of every single way in which I can make sure my systems are iron tight and I'm working that system every day? All right. The system should be, this is something, shout out to Dre Baldwin. He's a coach, business coach I hired. And he would always tell me, your system should be working harder than you guys. So I'll encourage you guys to make sure you create a system that's working harder than you. So all that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, it's makeyourmove.com. That's makeyaMove.com. Again, tap in with me on the Patreon link. It's patreon.com/Aswand44. You guys out there, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon. Again, tap in with me on the Patreon link. It's patreon.com.